Welcome to Bicycle Retail Radio, presented by the National Bicycle Dealers Association. This is where bicycle retailers, industry innovators, and advocates come together for real conversations about what's happening right now in bike retail, from cargo bikes to carbon fiber. Each episode explores the challenges you're facing, the opportunities ahead, and the people driving our industry forward. We go beyond the surface to uncover practical strategies, fresh perspectives, and authentic stories from shop owners who've been where you are. Whether you're navigating staffing challenges, adapting to market shifts, or looking for your next breakthrough idea, this is your community. Since 1946, the NBDA has been in the trenches with specialty bicycle retailers, providing education, advocacy, and connection when you need it most. Want to be a part of this community? Learn more about NBDA membership at nbda.com.
The Women in the Bicycle Industry Summit is coming to Bentonville, Arkansas on June 11th. Our Weeby Summit is free to attend and value-packed. Expect to connect with peers and mentors, hear diverse perspectives from bike shop owners, brand leaders, and advocates that are shaping the industry. And take some time for you, explore career growth and networking opportunities. Plus, the Weeby Summit coincides with our Retailer Summit Central and Bentonville Bike Fest, giving attendees a full week of events and engagement, and a perfect reason to make the trip. Register now at nbda.com, and we'll see you in Bentonville.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Today's Monday, April 6th. Hope you had a nice Easter weekend. Super thankful for this meeting of our bicycle industry retailer-focused e-bike safety and standards panel. This is a tri-annual platform that provides a chance for industry experts to meet, discuss, and address retailer risk concerns and best practices regarding lithium-ion batteries and e-mobility devices. We talk about safety, standards, and compliance. The NBDA, we extend so much gratitude to the panel members who have volunteered their time and continue to lend their expertise to this discussion. A lot of energy has gone into the scenes, behind the scenes to make this a collective platform that's really devised to propel us forward. We want to have everyone to have an open chance to share a dialogue, and we all can learn from one another. So thank you to the panel members. If you're viewing as a participant or attendee, we want you to get involved. So you can use the chat function, you can use the Q&A function, and throughout the event, the panel members and the NBDA will watch for your questions, for your input. And some of those questions we might answer live, while others we might just address back via the chat function. So a reminder, some words for the good. This is a platform that gives everyone an opportunity to share your thoughts in an environment that is non-judgmental. We truly believe that everyone's unique opinion does lend us to expand our horizons and think about things in a different way. So when our presenters or our panel members are sharing their thoughts, it's time for listening, absorbing, reflecting, thinking about how you might apply what they're saying to your future, but not to have comments that are disrespectful or out of place. So again, this is a learning environment and an open discussion time, and we appreciate everyone's opportunity to be here and your thoughts. So we do have a special presentation to kick us off today. We have Ed Benjamin. He's the Senior Managing Director at E-Cycle Electric, and he's going to share insights from the Taipei Cycle Show that just took place and provide an update on the Bicycle Alliance for Sustainability initiative. Ben, thanks for being here. Ben, you want to just go ahead and unmute for us?
A tricky mute button.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for that introduction. Thank you for the invitation to be here. And by the way, I want to emphasize that I'm wearing my hat that says Chairman of the Light Electric Vehicle Association right now. A quick introduction to me. I'm a longtime bike guy. Started working assembling bikes in 1969. Owned bike shops, managed bike shops, recovering from owning bike shops. Started a consulting company focused on electric bikes, and later a trade association focused on electric bikes or electric mobility. Uh, so what is the Taipei Cycle Show? Uh, I've always been impressed that so many American retailers and American bicycle industry people are a little vague about that. It is the show where Asia trots out all of the new stuff. It's where the big assembly houses look for Western buyers. It's where Western product managers and buyers come usually to place their orders or certainly to plan their orders. It's the place where the latest and greatest in componentry is shown to those product managers and buyers. It is a wonderful good time for anybody that's in the bicycle business. Now, is it possible for anybody to attend? Yes. Taiwanese are very welcoming. Anybody that's got a business card is welcome to attend. There's no charge for admission. And I do strongly recommend attending, and don't be shy about it. Yeah, okay, maybe you're not a buyer for an international brand, but you still will have a very educational and very interesting time. You do it a couple times and you'll be an industry insider. So, a summary of what I saw and learned this year. The show was basically the same as every year with 3 floors of bike stuff, bike components, and bike assembly factories. There were fewer attendees, dramatically fewer attendees. The chatter on the floor was that the economy is in trouble in the United States, the economy is in trouble in Europe, and these are very important markets for the companies that show at Taipei Cycle. Um, However, thousands of booths, meaning thousands of exhibitors showed up. Thousands of, more likely tens of thousands of people showed up to walk the aisles and do their shopping and meet people. And while I'm about it, we also had the inaugural event for the Light Electric Vehicle Association E-Bike Hall of Fame. We incorporated, I think, 12 members. We're going to hit 12. We're going to add 12 more at the Sea Otter and 12 more at China Cycle, 12 more at Eurobike. But we had our first such Hall of Fame induction at Taipei Cycle. Now, one of the things I'd like to comment on about Taiwan, you've just heard a very brief description of Taipei Cycle where I said, well, it's pretty much usual. Yeah, but Americans are still welcome and valued visitors in Taiwan. If you do a lot of international travel, you'll realize that that's not necessarily the case everywhere. But in Taiwan, they still smile when they see you and your passport. Hospitality, transportation, language are all very easy for Americans. The food is great. But the one thing that I wanted to bear down on here is sustainability. The Bicycle Alliance for Sustainability is a coalition of the big bike companies and component makers. And these are all names that you know. Giant, Merida, Fitzjoe, the list goes on. I think they have something like 75 members. And these are all companies that have made promises to find ways to reduce their use of materials, reduce their use of energy, and to build products that are more and more sustainable. And I think we could all agree that sustainability is a very important thing for the human race right now. Never mind the yammering of politicians and talking heads on the news. The human race, there's way too many people right now. We've got to figure out a way to adapt ourselves to this huge population and make everything that we do more sustainable, transportation being a very big part of that. Bicycles are one of the most important tools for the human race, for sustainability for the human race. And one of the things that one of my attitudes always was, I'm in the bike business. I don't need to worry about sustainability. I'm a sustainability hero because I sell bicycles. But there's more that can be done. The Bicycle Alliance for Sustainability, most of their members at the moment are people that are pretty much at the base of the supply chain, and they're reducing energy and they're reducing materials, but they're also bragging about it. And while I was listening to their excellent presentations about all the good stuff they're doing, I realized as retailers, we'd ought to be bragging about it too. I think this is a message that our customers are receptive to. And I think it's something that we should be proud of. The very fact that we're in the bike business means we're part of the sustainability solution. There's more that we can do. Most bike shops do recycle cardboard, drink containers, etc. And the very basic vehicle we sell is a good one. But we ought to look for more things that we can brag about. And we ought to start including in our marketing, we are contributing to a sustainable future in a big way. Now, right now is a good time to get started on that. Later this year, fuel and material costs are likely to be even more. So I would suggest that you start thinking about marketing that includes your contribution to sustainability. And then a final thought. If the NBDA was to join the Bicycle Alliance for Sustainability, I think the NBDA would be the first dealer organization to do so. That could be a really awesome, high profile and leadership move. Talking to you, Heather. The leadership is not expensive, but it can be awesomely effective, whether it means in your town or whether it means in the international stage. And so I'm going to sign off by saying I'm happy to answer questions. In order to save time at this forum, you can email me questions, ed@levassociation.com or ed@ecycleelectric.com, and comment. I have been saying for years that we're going to be living in a bright time for bicycles and e-bikes. We're in it now, and it's just going to keep getting better. Now, I'll uphold my reputation for being succinct and turn it back over to Heather. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ed. Yeah, such important information you're sharing, and do appreciate you making the time. I have the website pulled up, and I will definitely review and make a consideration, and I appreciate you bringing that forward. As always, we see this is how we learn from one another. So appreciate the work you're doing, Ed. You've always been just a great advocate and a lender of your expertise. So I don't see any questions incoming yet, but if anyone does have questions, please feel free to put those into chat and we can address those as we move along here. So much happening so rapidly. I feel like it's just continuing. So let's move forward here. The way that we have our topics for each one of these panel events is that Megan Schmidt, our programs developer, reaches out to the NBDA community, which consists of retailers, suppliers, providers, individuals, and says, hey, what would you like to see the panel of experts address in our April 2026 event? And so we get several topics selected to us, and then we have to choose the couple of like top, ones that we heard consistently. We'd like to hear this. And so this month we have two topics that we'll address. The first one's on battery safety and practical shop solutions, such an important topic. And the second one is realistic strategy for retailers to stay ahead of regulations in e-bike advocacy. I think they're both two hot topics, so excited to start with the first one. If you would like, though, for the future, one of your ideas to be discussed, please feel free. Megan does send those emails out about 6 weeks prior to the community and to lend your voice what you would like to hear the panel address. But here we are. Topic one today, battery safety and practical shop solutions. So let's just digress a little bit. Many bike shops understand the need to follow e-bike battery safety standards. We have many retailers who are setting up spaces within their shop, but still we have a struggle with space and cost constraints. So we're looking for practical options that exist for smaller retailers that will help them address these concerns, such as compact fire-resistant storage or battery safety lockers that fit into the limited space. So any ideas here for smaller bike shops that are looking to set up e-bike battery safety standards in their repair stores, but struggle with space and cost constraints. So we have three speakers. So I want to welcome Michael Pasquale. He's owner of Micromobility Connect, who's been working a lot with the NBDA and just joined us at the recent CABDA shows to present. Michael, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this.
Thank you, Heather. I'll pull up my presentation here.
Excellent.
There we go. Everybody see it? We good? Okay, awesome. So e-bike battery safety, practical shop solutions. So today I want to talk about what we can do in our shops that's actionable, right? You can take it immediately and implement these the following things in your shop. So real world containment solutions this is a topic we've talked about a lot on this panel. There isn't a silver bullet UL certified cabinet that's online that I know of. So Cell Block has a charging / storage cabinet that's approved by the fire department in New York, and it's still in use. Safety focus, we need not just a place to put batteries and store them. It needs to contain a thermal runaway event at the battery level. And a lot of the focus I like to really hammer down on is prevention in the first place, and what kind of batteries are you letting into your shop. New York compliance, so New York approved systems based on performance, not generic UL cabinets. And the status, UL certified cabinet standard is still in progress. And one of the things you mentioned, Heather, is cost. For a small shop, it's really expensive to acquire one of these cabinets. So the key takeaway is a process in place, and then energy control matters most. And that's what I'm going to talk about. So things that shops can implement immediately. So the key insight is the best systems can contain the event, but your process that you use daily, that you and your staff use, can significantly reduce the risk. So having a controlled intake at the e-bike service level, that's where it starts. And I've said this to many shops: don't just let bikes roll into your front door. You don't know what the condition of that battery is, if it's UL certified, if it's not, if it's damaged, if it's dangerous. So that's where it really starts, is at the front lines of your shop. I have an e-bike shop for 15 years, and our process is no bike comes in our shop until it receives an inspection. So we go outside, talk to the customer. We're looking at their battery. We're looking at certification symbols. We're looking at any damage, any swelling. If you just let bikes roll into your shop, you could be letting that danger right in your front door. Okay, so risk enters here. This is your first and most critical line of defense. Foreign and unknown batteries, you need to have a pre-inspection in place. Also, you need to train your staff to have a rejection policy, right? If they're not trained on what to say when they recognize a dangerous battery, it could turn awkward very quickly. To refuse swollen or modified batteries, train your staff to recognize those batteries and educate the customer about the risk and document it as well. So you're not just saying we're not letting that in because that's dangerous. You should be educating that consumer, saying, look at this. This is a dangerous situation. I wouldn't use this battery. You should dispose of it. You shouldn't charge it. It shouldn't be in your house. It's very dangerous, and document that. You have to empower your staff. So use a clear script so staff can confidently say no to unsafe equipment. Consistency is key regardless of who's working that day. So you can't have some of your staff doing one thing and the rest of your staff doing something else. You have to have continuity. Strategic control. Controlling intake for service directly reduces downstream risks throughout the entire shop operations. Shop floor should have only UL certified products. So we can control the bikes that we sell and buy and sell. What we can't control is what comes through our front door. So we need to put a process in front of that and gatekeep what exactly is coming through. So safety starts at the door. Intake control is your primary prevention tool. Charging discipline, minimizing risk. So I talk to my staff and I tell them, when we're assembling e-bikes and we have, quite a large inventory, we don't want to charge our batteries to 100%. Okay, so new bikes left at 100% charge create the maximum possible stored energy across your shop floors. So if you have every single brand new UL certified bike in your shop charged to 100%, that's a lot of stored energy you have. So what we recommend is don't charge every e-bike in your shop to 100%. High energy levels increase the severity of a potential thermal event. Display protocols. Limit full charges to just one bike per model, specifically for display or test rides. So you don't need to have every single bike in your showroom 100%. You're not selling every one of them in one day. Well, if you are, bless you, but odds are that's probably not happening. Maintain all remaining inventory at a partial charge state to significantly reduce operational risk. So risk management, the strategy here is lower charge levels mean lower stored energy. Segueing into that, we can control what we buy and sell. The service center is, we can have all UL certified bikes and the risk is significantly lower with UL certified bikes. However, when a UL certified battery comes in your shop, you shouldn't just be, it's got a UL certification, it's fine. It could be damaged. It could have been improperly handled, improperly stored, and there's still a danger. So you need to get your staff trained on how to recognize that danger and be a gatekeeper to what's coming in your shop.
If you're a specialty bicycle retailer, this is the event you don't want to miss. It's the NBDA Retailer Summit Central in Bentonville, Arkansas, June 9th through 11th. It's 3 days of keynotes, hands-on workshops, e-mobility deep dives, and real talk with retailers who are actually growing their businesses. Plus, you're in Bentonville, world-class trails are right outside the door. Head to nbda.com to register, as spots are filling up fast.
Thank you, Michael. I like your suggestions. I also like how you brought it back to the beginning, which is just the bikes you're allowing in your shop and the protocols you have there. So really do appreciate that. We have another speaker from our panel to address this as well. Great friend of mine, Brad Achatella, Business Development Manager for Hyena e-bike systems. Brad, thanks for being here.
Hey everybody. I actually, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know much about how to store batteries in bike shops. I I don't own a shop, but I work on more of the design and manufacturing side of things. I agree with Ed. If you can get to Taiwan, do it. I've been traveling to that show. I missed a few years in between, but I think my first one was 2003. Love the people, the food. If I have enough time, I can show you some pictures of my last trip. But I work with Hyena. Basically, one of the things that stuck with me when I was reading over the email that Megan's was sending me before this was that she said it would be great if you could share insights on certification and safety considerations on the manufacturing side. So there's really two big considerations there. One is cost and one is money, time. So at the retail level, it's really interesting now because you can go in Google or Amazon 500-watt rear hub motor e-bike, and you can see bikes now for $500 or less delivered to your door. And you're like, how do they do that? And yes, like certain things like supply chain, old stock, old inventory, maybe a tariff reduction because you're building things over here, or logistics connections, maybe it's direct to consumer right from the factory. You can save some costs there. But really, I would have to say the largest cost is the testing and certification that goes into a UL certified bike, and the integrations and everything as far as product planning that goes into it. Just on the testing side for a battery, I was doing some AI looking up before this, and they said, oh, testing for a battery could be $8,000. I haven't gotten a quote under $18,000 for UL certification on testing for a battery. And that's just the battery. So, I mean, total product development cost on testing for one model or one system could be upwards around maybe 40, $50,000, depending on what you're integrating. It could be as cheap as 20, but those are still significant costs. On top of whatever tooling you're opening up for that frame, for that battery to fit, or what other things you're designing there. It's a huge cost on that side. And I think at the retail level, you have the companies, because there's no true regulation in the US really now, it's state by state, that are bringing into the minimum certification, which is really nothing. And you have others that are taking the high road and certifying at a super high level for UL. And not only are they paying for the price on that in development, but their per unit costs go up because that battery has special design to it where it, insulates some of the cells, and the way the BMS system is done, and where the PCB boards are placed, and the heat control and all that stuff meets the certification. And it goes down to the design of every component throughout the system. And that really is what comes into play. And that's why you have this big disparity. Like, why does my Specialized or Marin or Jameis or Cannondale start at like, $2,200 or $2,300? And it's really that high road versus low road kind of mentality right now on the manufacturing side. So, yeah, that's kind of where I was trying to drive home as far as education. I could go more into the minutia of like what those certifications actually test and how they differentiate. You can email me. I'll send my address here. And if Megan, I think I have a minute or two left. I can cycle through some pictures of the Taipei show if you guys are interested.
Yeah.
I can share my screen.
Thanks, Brad.
So this is my first stop. Whenever I get to Taiwan, I stop for a Taiwan beer. Let's see here. Oh, I met some people from Russia on the train ride down. These are people from my hometown that were actually traveling in Taiwan at the same time. We overlapped our trips. We do some trail development here together. So we went and saw some artwork, saw this old loop bike made from 1982 with split top tube and split down tube. They basically used the chainstay tubing for the whole bike. I fell in love with Olaf, the fat Snoopy. I didn't know he existed. We went to a temple, chicken sandwich. This is more of the show, some candy. This was the booth that I was representing, Hyena. We were launching our new AI system for diagnostics. Let's see here. Oh, I had to carry some hand goods back for the Little Bellas, which is up in Vermont. Little tiny streets here in Taiwan. Stayed at a little hotel, but nice narrow, 8 million people, but you can still find these nice quiet streets. I paid for my hotel $62 a night. So it's super cheap, super affordable. This is my team from Hyena. Some amazing ramen, beers, walking home. Um, my schedule. Yeah, then the show. Just lots and lots of people, lots of booths. My good friend Jaime, some duck five ways, gotta have it. Um, yeah, some frames, everything you can find there. If you're looking to start a brand or build something, this show is a must. Uh, Industry folks partying at night at the Brass Monkey, the world famous. The only place where you can hang out with Dutch people, Taiwanese people, Italian people, Americans, and Canadians, all within like shoulder distance. Um, yeah, and then lots of fun stumbles home, fun titanium parts. That's it.
Brad, thank you. I love it. I love it. It's like a personal trip we just went on with you. It was wonderful. It's great
Yeah.
to see those photos because it is a show that it would be great for more of us to be able to get to. So appreciate your authenticity and how
Yeah, I've got over 50 maybe more. I'm closer to 100 trips to Taiwan over the years. It's a special place, and it's just as special to bring them here and host them when they come. So,
I love it. So, for our attendees and panel members, we did put Brad's contact information in chat. If you have any questions, please do reach out to him. Before I get some other input for the rest of the panel members, Megan Schmidt, who's our program developer, does have a presentation from the Battery Network resources to share. So, Megan,
Awesome. Thank you. Can everyone see my screen?
looks perfect.
Great. So I thank everyone for their remarks already. Super, super helpful. And I think NBDA at Taipei Summit I'm hearing for next year. So thank you, Brad, for that nudge there. But I wanted to share on behalf of the Battery Network in the US, previously known as Call to Recycle, still known as Call to Recycle for Canada, just the resources that are really underlining what a lot of Michael said as well here as far as in-shop training, but also a great kind of passive way to share this information with your customers. I really love Michael's way of meeting safety at the door, not letting bikes in that may be unsafe for your business, maybe a liability, but also having that education plan in place and a way to deliver it because that awkward conversation is, not doing us any service and not doing the owner of that bike any service. We've all seen it. That rider may, just seek to ask you to do something that you're not comfortable with as your business owner, or just may seek out a different shop to do something that they need done because they need to get to work on their bike or get from point A to point B. We obviously see this a little bit differently with e-bikes than a lot of our analog bike riders. So I think passive information is really great too, just sometimes having that on our website or being a known point of contact in the Call to Recycle or now the Battery Network program. So I'll pop some links into the chat here when I stop sharing my screen. But the main one I wanted to show everyone was on the batterynetwork.org for US-based shops. If you click under programs and e-bike program, scroll down, you'll see a lot of great content there. This is where riders who might be doing some safety research on their own will be directed to. Many of you have probably signed up. If you haven't, you'll notice that these are participating brands that have batteries able to be recycled through this program or collected through your shop as a point of collection. You'll notice there's many brand names that are not on here. So I don't want to say that this is, not helpful at all in that regard, because you'll find a lot of great resources on this website. And if you click through and start becoming a collection point, you'll notice you also get educational materials, safety materials. Those are agnostic. Those can work for any brand that you might be dealing with, either an unfortunate safety event or just being proactive. If you scroll down on here too, you'll see just a really great, clear, just simple kind of, scorecard of how to charge your batteries safely and how to store them safely. These are great. I think print them out, laminate them, put them around your shop. If you're talking with someone who's an e-bike owner, maybe they're a younger person who, doesn't have a lot of agency over how they store their e-bike or how they charge it, or just, yeah, we charge it in the garage at our home. Maybe you don't have any more information than that. Maybe print this out and hand it to them. It's simple stuff, but I think we can all benefit from kind of being reminded on it. Don't let it overcharge. Most of us charge our phones overnight, so it's something that, unless you're kind of in the know, you might not think that that's a bad thing. You might think you're being prepared by keeping your e-bike topped off at all times. Um, so these are, again, the brand list that you'll see there. And then this safety guide, it's more comprehensive. This wouldn't be your, print out in the store. But this is definitely a great starting point to review with owners of your store, your staff, and you'll see some great information in here too, to reach out to your local fire department, have those conversations. And I guess bottom line is, don't assume that everyone knows everything or anything. So again, this battery network resources are super handy and a great way to just kind of get everyone on the same page, get your talking points together, and also have a plan so you're not stuck in an awkward conversation or a conversation that leads to potential liability for you in your store.
Megan, that's super helpful. Thank you for that and for putting that into chat for everyone. I really appreciate that. I wanted to open it up to our panel members to see if anyone else wanted to lend your insight into battery safety practical shop solutions. I know the Human Powered Solutions team, the NBDA, we've been working with trying to find fire resistant storage lockers, battery safety lockers for retailers. They're very costly, so we've been definitely digging into that, but don't have a great solution to bring forward yet. But did anyone else on the panel want to chime in on this one? Oh, Michael, thank you.
I knew Megan would be talking about the battery network, and so I kind of left that alone. But I can tell you, through our training program, we do a survey and we ask if they have any lithium battery fire safety training, if they know who Call to Recycle or now the battery network is. And there's still a lot of dealers sleeping on that, a ton of dealers. So again, the message is go to the battery network, get the resources that you need, spend the time with your staff to understand what a dangerous battery looks like, understand the protocols. I saw when Megan was kind of scrolling through, it said have a fire plan. Those are all important things you should be doing with your employees before you're onboarding or intaking any bikes for service. Have them all on the same page, have a fire plan in place, and mitigate that risk.
Thank you. And William.
Yeah, Michael just took the words out of my mouth, and I cannot emphasize talking to your staff, teaching them and training them. They don't know. Don't assume that your staff understand policies, procedures. What would happen, worst case scenario? What is your procedure? And here we've actually done a practice run of what that would actually look like. So myself take the initiative to actually create a fake incident and see how the staff reacted. And as much as I thought my staff were 100% prepared, there could have been an issue. So we've just did a training session about what actually happens. Nobody has to be a hero. If a lithium battery catches and you know it is a potential problem, I think the message is stay away from it. There's nothing you can do. Protect human life as number one. A retail store can be rebuilt, and contact your emergency services as soon as possible for assistance. We can't have any heroes out there. Do your very best to store your batteries properly and in compliance with what the manufacturer recommends. Never let batteries charge. And please, whatever you do, don't have a workbench with 10 battery chargers all plugged into the same socket with an extension cord and multiple outlets. Do not do that. Do it properly. use common sense, I think, is the biggest thing. And don't let it charge overnight unattended. I think those are probably the basics behind proper battery storage and charging.
Yeah, thank you, William. We've been talking about this for several years now with the NBDA, and I still will visit retailers and see several extension cords or whatnot. So I also did just share into chat the Human Powered Solutions NBDA advised protocols for retailers. Definitely please do review those. And Mike Fritz is here, and I see his hand up. So Mike, would you like to jump in?
I just wanted to reinforce what William had said, as well as what Michael said. Obviously, prevention is absolutely the best approach, the best strategy, and there are effective, concrete ways that you can prevent ever having an issue. But to further what William said just a moment ago, unfortunately, there was just a report this last weekend of an individual who attempted to fight a lithium-ion battery fire. It was an e-bike fire, and talk about don't be a hero. He attempted to fight the fire. He inhaled the very toxic gases that are generated by a lithium-ion battery fire, and he succumbed. He did not have any burn injuries, no physical injuries, but breathing those fumes can and was fatal. And hydrogen cyanide, hydrogen dioxide. There's all sorts of very toxic gases given off by a lithium-ion battery fire. If you encounter a fire, evacuate. It's the only safe way. Let the fire department handle it. They have the appropriate breathing apparatus that protect them not only from the flames but also from the very, very toxic gases. Do not be a hero. Again, to underline what William just stated, that is critically important. Get the hell out.
Yeah, Michael, thank you for that. And yeah, for Steve the Bike Guy, recommended battery storage solutions. That's on that PDF I just shared from the NBDA and Human Powered Solutions. I think you'll find that to be a great resource. And then fireproof storage bags. I do know there's some considerations there. Anyone on the panel want to have any suggestions? Yeah, Michael.
Cell Block has developed a line of very robust battery charging bags, and I've seen samples. Michael, I believe you had some bags that we looked at after one of the CABDA shows. They're very robust. They will not contain the gas. They will contain the debris and the flames, obviously. So it's not a panacea. You still need to be careful to make sure that you're not exposed to the toxic gases, but they do appear to be very robust fire safety charging bags, and would be recommended.
Excellent. Thank you, Mike. And Ed, were you going to chime in? I just saw you on mute.
I'd like to comment that the bags will contain the flames, but I suspect that most people have no idea just the volume of and how quickly the volume of toxic gases occurs. The bags won't contain the toxic gases. So a moment ago, we heard the words "get out." That is your primary strategy. Get out of there.
Yeah, thank you, Ed, for reiterating that. And I want to go back to what William said about having a plan in place for your team. I think it's really important to practice the get out and to know what to do and who to call, because I've seen batteries and thermal run away with Mike and Jay, and it is quick and it is vicious, and it's not something we're going to have time. So just get out. Think about safety.
You know what? I misspoke a minute ago. I had stated that Michael had the bags. It was actually Clint. Clint had a couple samples of the Calder Recycle bag that he brought to CABDA show, and we looked at him, and I was very impressed. In fact, when the budget allows, I think I'm going to buy a couple for my situation.
Hey everyone, it's Frances, and I want to talk about community, specifically the Canadian bicycle retail community. For years, Canadian retailers have traveled to our U.S. summits. You've told us you want something closer to home, something that speaks directly to your market. We hear you. The NBDA Retailer Summit Canada happens this year, July 29th and 30th, and it's built for you. Main stage sessions in the morning featuring Canadian retail leaders, interactive flow sessions in the afternoon where you problem solve with peers facing the same challenges. We're diving into what matters, exceeding customer expectations in the Canadian market, winning inventory strategies for your season, staff development, service center profitability, and the e-mobility opportunity in Canada. And here's what makes this extra special. Your distributors are already behind you. HLC, OGC, LTP and Giant are supporting this summit because they're invested in your success. Registration is $250 for retailers or $200 for NBDA members, and just $175 for each additional team member. Visit nbda.com and register today. Summit Canada, this year, July 29th and 30th.
Okay, so we're going to move on to topic 2 to keep us some time, but we can come back to questions as well or answer those in the chat function. So topic 2 is strategies for retailers to stay ahead of regulations and e-bike advocacy. And this goes deeper with e-bikes and electric motorcycles, often grouped together in public perception and regulation. We saw this in New Jersey, and we're seeing things happen in California. How can retailers, manufacturers, and policymakers differentiate the risks, usage patterns, and safety concerns of each? We want to ensure that rules, education, and enforcement target the right issues. And we know that e-bikes, class 1, 2, and 3, are important for our industry. So it is really important to have a clear distinguish. Speaker 1, Larry Peasy, great to have you. He's CEO of Pedigo and also works with People for Bikes on the Electric Bikes Subcommittee. Larry, thanks for being here.
Hey, thanks so much for having me, Heather. Let me see if I can share my screen. Can you all see that?
Not yet, Larry. Can you
Huh.
share that again, please?
Let me see here. Let's try it again. Well, that's not good.
And we'll just troubleshoot here. I think Megan and I both have a copy of your presentation. Perhaps we can share it.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah. Give me one moment here.
I'm a bit of a Luddite on Zoom, so apologies for
Thank
that.
you for pulling so quickly.
But thank you so much that you guys are making it easy. So as Heather just said, we saw a really unfortunate situation present in New Jersey in January. And, I have a lot of friends that have stores in New Jersey, and we have some Pedigo stores in New Jersey. And what I'm hearing is they haven't sold a bike since this unfortunate law has passed. And, now is the time, really, for everyone to get involved, and retailers especially. You can go to the next slide, please. There's a QR code in the upper right-hand corner here, and if you have your phone handy, please take a picture of that and get to the People for Bikes legislative toolkit. I'm going to show this QR code at the end as well. But I want to spend a few minutes talking about why retailers should get involved right now in helping protect legitimate e-bikes and helping policymakers properly deal with e-motos. People for Bikes has already done a lot of the heavy lifting with the legislative toolkit and model e-moto legislation that's sort of articulated when you get into this toolkit. So it's really about using these resources and making sure the retail voice is part of the conversation. Next slide, please. The main issue is that true 3-class e-bikes are being lumped together with products that really aren't e-bikes at all. People for Bikes is very clear that the 3-class system is the right framework for legal low-speed electric bicycles, and that products over 750 watts, over 20 miles per hour on motor power alone, or without operable pedals should not be treated as electric bikes. If we don't help lawmakers understand the distinction now, we risk creating confusion that could hurt compliant brands, compliant retailers, and the consumers we serve. Next slide, please. This is really where retailers can be incredibly effective. We're the ones on the ground talking to consumers every day, and we can explain in plain English what a legal e-bike is and what an e-moto is. The model legislation also gets very specific about so-called switchable products, vehicles that can be changed with a button or an app or software so that they no longer meet the e-bike definition. And that's exactly the kind of distinction policymakers need to hear from us. Next slide. My message here is really simple. Retailers are trusted, credible, and local. That means when lawmakers, city officials, or the media are trying to figure out this unfortunate situation that we find ourselves in as an industry, your voice carries real weight because you're dealing with a consumer confusion and market reality firsthand. The good news is that People for Bikes is not asking anyone to start from scratch. The toolkit is built to help advocates, businesses, and policymakers use proven language and proven approaches. Next slide, please. If I had to boil down the ask, it would be this: support the three-class system, support clear definitions, support anti-tampering rules, and support enforcement against deceptive sellers. This is not anti-innovation and it's not anti-e-mobility. It's about protecting safe, compliant products, preserving public confidence, and making sure the wrong vehicles do not damage the future of the right ones. Next slide, please. Here's that QR code again. So if you didn't get it first go around, try to get it this time. And I think, Megan, you're going to make this available after the fact, right? So if you don't have your phone handy, you can get it next go around, or you can visit the peopleforbikes.org website to find e-bike legislative toolkit. The nice part of these resources is that they already exist. The legislative toolkit covers a broader framework, including the three-class system itself, e-motos, anti-tampering, rider education, and other related policy areas. And the model e-moto legislation goes deeper into definitions, prohibitive practices, labeling, seller regulation, and enforcement. So my encouragement to everyone here is use the toolkit, use the model legislation, and connect with People for Bikes directly if you want help engaging in your state or local market. Next slide. Thank you. And if you want to get in touch with me, my email's there. It's pretty simple, larry@pedigo.com. And please help. This is a really urgent issue. And, Heather mentioned that the situation in New Jersey and bills that have popped up in the state of California. I'm finding bills popping up all over the country at the local level, sometimes even at state level, and we need to get in front of this. So even if you're not immediately impacted by what's going on here, we have to get involved now if we want to preserve what we have going for us, the only growing category in the bicycle industry, low-speed electric bikes. Thanks so much, everyone, for your time.
Well, thank you, Larry. I really fortunate for the work that People for Bikes has been doing, and I can tell our community that the NBDA, the Bike League, and People for Bikes have really been aligning and teaming up to make sure that we're doing the best we can to advocate for this important category. Jay Townley, I see your hand up.
I just wanted to reinforce what Larry said from the standpoint of it's extremely important that dealers understand that when they get an alert from Heather or Megan from the NBDA, that they get involved. As Larry points out, it's extremely important that state legislators hear from local business people. They vote, if nothing else. And I think also what Heather just mentioned is important in that NBDA and the League of American Bicyclists are working with People for Bikes. I know that Larry is promoting the People for Bikes portion of this, but I think Larry would also readily acknowledge that he's reached out, as has People for Bikes, and at this point, NBDA and the League of American Bicyclists are also doing the absolute best they can to help form a coalition that will fight against this. Both New Jersey legislation and what we've seen, as Larry points out, is these additional requirements or these additional state bills that are being introduced. We've seen this before in the history of the bike industry, and the only way we're going to beat it is we all work together.
Thank you, Jay. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Yeah. Anyone else on the panel want to chime in here before we go to our next speaker? All right, let's keep rolling. We can always have more open discussion. Appreciate Larry, great presentation. Jay, great follow-up. Speaker 2 is Michael Pasquale from Micromobility Connect. Michael, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. Can you see the PowerPoint okay?
Yes, thank you, Michael.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I want to echo what Larry said and Jay said. Every state has municipalities. There could be hundreds of municipalities. And I think the only way we do this is we all work together. Larry said something, I own a shop. Just because it happened somewhere else, that's going to set the tone for the rest of the country, right? So we have to be involved as retailers. And I know even William's been in the e-bike business a long time. When we first started, people would come in and say, do you need a license or insurance for these? That's the kind of questions we were getting. And what I found very helpful was having the current rules and regulations printed in my shop so I could show every customer that came in and say, look, no license, no insurance. These are the actual regulations printed from the government website. So that's something I want to talk about as well. So what kind of strategies should we implement as a retailer day to day that's actionable that you can take back to your shop today? So navigating these complex legal landscapes with actionable steps, align your inventory with local and federal e-bike definitions, transform regulatory hurdles into customer education moments, which is something I love doing with the different aspects of e-bikes, of course. The NBDA e-bike safety standards panel, engaging with industry experts to define and promote benchmarks, UL certification, actionable steps, and implement strategies immediately. Thank you, Larry. I took a shot of the QR code, so I'm going to have a good read after this. I think everybody else should as well. Number one, don't sell illegal or gray area products. So regulatory pressure, e-motos and modified products are driving this regulatory pressure. Many fall outside legal definitions of e-bikes, but are still sold online or elsewhere. And they're really impacting all the progress that we made in e-bikes. It really feels like it's really going to slow us down. Operational strategy, make a clear decision to avoid gray area products in your shop, because if you don't, you're actually contributing to the problem. Align your inventory with what is clearly permitted and train your staff with policy. You can't stay ahead of regulation if you're operating outside of it. Print the regulations and make the regulations visible and usable. So most consumers don't understand the regulations. Retailers often assume customers already know, and customers want illegal products. We have parents coming in my shop showing me online what their kid wants, or other, people coming in saying, this is the bike I'm looking for. And at that point, I want to tell them that what they're looking at is not actually legal. It's going to get them in trouble and it's going to hurt the industry. I'll pull out the regulations and say, look, that doesn't fit the current definition. So if you buy something, something like that, it's going to be illegal. Okay. Visibility actions, print and display the local rules, speed, class, usage, keep them at the counter and service areas, and clearly define and take the time to educate your consumer or your customers. Make the regulations part of your customer experience. Use real interactions to educate those consumers. You don't just want to say no. So use the educational part to redirect, not reject. Don't just say, nope, we don't sell those products, get out of my store. That creates a lot of friction. Explaining the why builds the trust and authority. take that educational moment, turn gray area inquiries into educational moments, show the difference between marketed versus legal products. Compliance guideline, offer compliant alternatives. You and your shop should have all compliant electric bikes available. Guide the conversation responsibly and transform rejection into a value-added service through education. Closing thought, the root of the cause is usually regulation is often driven by gray area products, misuse, or injury. It's not driven by people that are responsible consumers that are, driving completely legal e-bikes. It's the small percentage that are kind of ruining it for everybody. And it's kind of like one kid pees the bed, everybody wears diapers kind of philosophy. And it's not right. There's a lot of people, a ton of responsible users that are using their bikes every day to get to work and to their jobs, to school, and they rely on them. And they shouldn't be punished for the actions of the few. So strong retailers remove the gray and educate consumers. The goal, lead with clarity, consistency, and education. And leading with clarity and education positions you and your shop as a leader. So these are things that are happening every day, people coming in asking about illegal e-bikes, and it gets a little annoying. Be ready, have a plan, train your staff, have the rules and regulations, let them know that that bike is not legal. They're going to get in trouble for riding it. It could get taken away. And the repercussions of those buying a product like that. Thank you. Let's build a safer, more transparent e-bike industry together. And if you need to reach out to me for anything, my email's there, michael@micromobilityconnect.com. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Michael. Lots of great information here. There's a lot coming down the pipeline, regulations, e-bike advocacy. It's really important that we are aligned and working collectively as an industry to make sure we're proactive instead of reactive. So any other comments or suggestions from our panel members at this time? I think we've got a lot of great information already. And Larry, thank you.
I'd just say quickly, the e-moto issue in certain communities has just absolutely exploded. And most of it is a misunderstanding by the parents that are buying these products for primarily their teenagers. They think they're buying a legal e-bike. They've heard that e-bikes are legal. And, as retailers, it's really critical, and it's a great business opportunity at the same time, as Michael said, to inform them of what's legal and what's not legal, and to have some backup that you can put in their hand to, clarify that for them. But, if I've heard it once, I've heard it 1,000 times in the last couple of months. Parents just don't understand what they're buying for their kids. So, we're on the front line as retailers, and we're in the best position possible, not only to correct the problem before it becomes a problem, but also be the source of information and gain a sale of a legitimate, compliant, low-speed electric bicycle in the process.
Yeah, fantastic information there, Larry. I mean, we do have an obligation, I think, to continue to grow the cycling community in a very safe way. And when parents find themselves, I mean, I'm a parent of 2 teenagers, into your store because the teen saw something on TikTok or social media, we have a diligence to inform the purchaser of what will keep their children safe. They'll thank you later. It's not us trying to get them to spend more money. We want to make sure that everyone is safe and you're on the best product possible. So that diligence really needs to be something that we pay a really great attention to, because it's an important role that we play in the journey of someone's cycling adventure, especially these young kids. I was out in California, and 90% of the bikes I saw were e-motos or e-bikes with 2 or 3 kids on them. Like, I was like, oh, what are we doing out here? So we do need to get involved and promote safety. Anything else from our panel members at this time? E-bikes have brought so much to our industry and will continue to do that. So we really need to be focused, to pay attention to safety considerations, regulations, and advocacy. So I appreciate everyone's time today to focus on these important topics. It's an hour. We only have 60 minutes, so there's probably a lot more questions and thoughts out there. Please do reach out. If you'd like to connect with any of the panel members, you can reach out to us, and Megan and I will put you in contact with them. Everyone is here volunteering their time to help out, and that means just so much to the NBDA community. So thank you for that. What we'll do is we'll come back together Tuesday, September 1st. So that's a long time from now. But if you do have questions, please do reach out. Before that September event, Megan will send out to the community an email asking for topics that you would like the panel to address. So feel free to look for that and send something in response. Thank you again to our panel members, to all those attendees today, and we appreciate all of you. Have a great afternoon. Enjoy your Monday.
Thanks for spending time with us on Bicycle Retail Radio. If this episode resonated with you, subscribe and share it with another retailer who could use the insight. Join us every week for new conversations and fresh perspectives to keep you ahead of the curve. The NBDA is constantly creating events, webinars, and resources built specifically for bicycle retailers. Check out what's coming up at nbda.com. Shout out to Francis Abbott for today's graphics. Interested in sponsoring an episode or know someone we should talk to? Head to nbda.com. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time.